This one, posted by Scott Galloway at The Economist, is pretty amazing. Russia is the only place more unwilling to take the vaccine than America. Germany is quite high, though, and Canada. A few surprises here. Anyway, this is, of course, presumably why we're having such a terrible wave of the Delta variant, but it really is pretty remarkable. Anyway, this is a new one. The Los Angeles police have been told to collect your social media account information for everyone they stop, whether they arrest you or not. And they've been strictly told by their supervisor that they must collect this because going through your social media accounts later will help them in investigations. And this is, of course, quite scary to people that are in favor of civil liberty. There have occasionally been government mandates to also take your passwords. And I think there was a time when they thought employers should demand your social media passwords. And those things didn't last very long. But this one is apparently still happening. And this expose is likely to cause them to knock it off or at least hide it a little better. Oh, you had COVID. You mean even though you were vaccinated? Twisted? I mean, that's what I've heard. I've heard if you're vaccinated and you get COVID, right, then it's not a big deal, right? Yeah. That's the same thing with the flu vaccine. Yeah. I mean, I noticed that about flu vaccine years ago. If you get the flu vaccine, then if you get the flu, it's a lot milder. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You can get it. But how did you know you had it? Did you have any symptoms? Yeah, did you get a test or something? Because, I mean, if I had mild cold for a couple of days, I wouldn't even assume I had COVID. But yeah, it's, I'm hoping. Yeah, I got tested. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, that's what I've heard. You can get breakthrough infections. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. Anyway, Amazon is going to have Just Walk Out at more stores. They've had this idea for a while at other stores, but they're going to open it at Whole Foods, where you don't have a checkout cashier at all. You just go out with like a cart full of stuff, and it automatically scans it all with RFID tags and automatically deducts it from your credit card. So that's pretty awesome. I think it's RFID. It's something like that, where it doesn't even have to go through a barcode scanner or anything. So that would be fun. And so people were freaking out about this. Oh yeah, homeless are already doing it. Well, yes, but with the minor detail of not paying for things. I mean, that technology has been around for a long time. But that is not what they want you doing. Yes. Now, I've noticed this at Phil's. If you get coffee at Phil's, which I do almost every day, you can order it on the app, and when you go in, it's just sitting there, and then you grab it and leave. They have no idea who you are, I think. And so I wonder how many people just steal somebody else's coffee and leave. Yeah. Oh, they already do that in Amazon Fresh right by your place. So that's cool. Yeah. Well, it sounds pretty nice to me. RFC replay. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Anyways, now they have drones that will track humans or cars. It will follow you everywhere and report on what you're doing. So people say this would be nice for, to take selfies from a distance away and stuff, but they're worrying about using this to track people down. It's in the science fiction movies quite a bit. There's a scanner on the card. Okay, that's cool. And Eliana, it's a radio scanner, right? They wouldn't let you go in without the card, right? You don't have to scan things, right? Yeah, stick the drones on Waymo. You can put them on Waymo cars or anything. I mean, that's why they demonstrate it tracking people anywhere. So certainly it would be useful for like police high-speed chases and catching fugitives and stuff. But of course, they could use it to track down people that haven't done much. That's what happened to the email, Proton Mail. They tried to say they wouldn't log anything and they're safe, but then they got a court order requiring them to log somebody's IP in order to turn them in. And then instead of being a serious criminal, it was like an environmental protester. And that's the thing, they always sell these technologies saying they're going to use it for like terrorists or something, or child molesters, and then they use it for political crimes, where make people feel like they shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. You don't need to scan. It'll scan it for you. Yeah, it sounds great. So that means it must be radio, Eliana, right? It can't be a barcode then. Good. Yeah. Well, yes, I think VPNs do have to do that all the time. I mean, the whole point of VPNs, they like to give you privacy, but if they get a court order, they have to comply to the court order. So that's why I think one of the things that came out about Proton Mail is if there was a Tor version, you could have come in through Tor, and then they really wouldn't know who you were. Right. That's true. They promise they don't log, but really they're logging. That's right. Proton, I don't know about Jack Reisiter's tweet. I just know Proton did defend themselves, and they issued an official statement saying that they're just complying with Swiss law, and they changed the claims on their website. So they no longer claim to provide complete private email, anonymous email, because it's not true. They can track you if they have to. But I don't know about Jack Reisiter. Anyway, this is what I expected, but I wonder sometimes if I'm overly cynical, but that doesn't seem to be possible. Yeah, Fortinet VPNs. No, Fortinet somebody had a vulnerability, so somebody stole like 500,000 passwords. It wasn't hard-coded passwords. It's individual people passwords stored on the device and stolen through a vulnerability, apparently. Anyway, this is what I was worried about. After Trump lost and then just claimed he won, and he said right from the start that he was only that he would only believe the election results if he won. And I thought this would spread to other Republicans, and here it is now. There's Fox host doing this, saying the only thing that can possibly have Newsom avoid getting recalled is voter fraud. And this is why I'm kind of expecting in 22 and 24 that we'll have a serious problem with Republicans just demanding an office when they lose the vote, claiming the vote was fraudulent. Anyway, let's see. Here's something about Proton Mail, the climate activist thing. Yeah. There are clarifications about arrest of a climate act. Yeah, this is Proton Mail statement. That's right. So, I mean, I've heard about this. So they explain they don't give data to anybody except Switzerland, but they have to agree with Switzerland. Yeah. And hide my ass also. And the most egregious one was the encrypted email hush mail, because they had everything encrypted with a word password that they didn't have, but when they got a court order, they were forced to put malware on their page to put a keylogger in the browser to steal somebody's password. And that really gave them bad reputation. But, this is a fundamental problem with anonymity technology. Anybody that runs a business has to obey the laws of their nation, and to some extent they have to hand over data. So the thing to do, of course, is to design a system where you really don't have the data, and that's something like Tor. If you came into Proton Mail through Tor, I think they really would have no idea where you are, and they could hand over to the cops everything they have, and they still wouldn't know who you were. Good. Anyway, this was pretty interesting and quite relevant to this class, I thought. Brian Armstrong is the CEO of Coinbase, I believe, and he runs Coinbase, and I've often told everybody that asks me about cryptocurrency that if you want to do it, in the first place, don't. But in the second place, if you got to, go through Coinbase. Coinbase is the best of a really bad lot. They really want to be the legal exchange for cryptocurrency, and they're really trying hard to be legal, which is not easy. And so the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, has really irritated Brian Armstrong. They want to open savings accounts where you can give them money and they will pay you a higher interest rate. Now, normally savings accounts now are below 1%, but they want to pay like 4 or 5% because they're going to invest it in crypto, and crypto is going up pretty fast, and they're willing to bet it'll keep going up fast. So he'd like to run savings accounts, but a bunch of people have already been doing it for years. But he, rather than just doing it and waiting to get hit, they asked permission first, because Coinbase is really serious about trying to obey the law. And they told him this is a security, whatever security is, some kind of investment vehicle. And they say, okay, that means it's regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they say you can't do it. and they won't explain why, and they won't explain what you would need to do to be able to do it, and they won't enforce it on his competitors. So he feels very abused. The people that didn't ask are just doing it and offering the service, and he can't offer the service, and he can't even get a straight answer why, which is, fairly common with government agencies, right? They don't know what they're doing. Anyway, so it's an interesting read to see what they're doing here. And it does point out something that I like to point out, is that Coinbase is the best of the lot. They really want to be legal. They want to be a legal cryptocurrency bank, and that is not easy in this time when the government hasn't really decided what's going on with cryptocurrency, and they keep changing it so fast the government can't catch up. In the same spirit, this was pretty amazing. It looks like they took down that cheat, but this guy claimed that the El Salvador app Chivo, you can get $30 for free, and apparently all you had to do is enter anybody's name and national ID and get your $30. But the person who claimed that, their tweet is now gone, so I don't know what happened there. Maybe that wasn't true. I don't have access to the app to test it myself. Anyway, this was kind of amazing. Ethereum, I didn't know it was this bad. I got involved in CryptoKitties like 4 years ago, and I wasn't able to trade them because the Ethereum blockchain froze and you could not perform any transactions. But now the Ethereum blockchain, the exchange, the price for a transaction has gone up to thousands of dollars, which I've never heard of before. I know Bitcoin is around 20 or $30, at least it was a few weeks ago. But apparently, again, the blockchain is frozen up to where it can't handle the transactions, so the only way to get anybody to mine your transaction is to pay thousands of dollars fee. And he said it got so high you can't even do the tracker. The tracker can't keep track of it because it either ran off the top or they couldn't afford to pay the gas necessary to do the queries to run the tracker, something like that. So that's pretty incredible. I didn't know it was that bad, but this is the general problem with cryptocurrency that I mentioned before. All the cryptocurrency blockchains cannot handle the amount of traffic to run anything that's actually production scale. All they can do is run an early prototype and get like an early version of something running in order to get a bunch of investment. And then when you actually try to scale it up to popularity, the blockchain crashes and just can't deliver the traffic like CryptoKitties. And so they're all too inefficient because the fundamental point of the blockchain is to run 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times slower than a centralized database. Anyway, all right, I think that's enough of the news. Let's get down to the official stuff. Let me stop this.